me introduce myself first. My name is Dr. Erkan Acar, and I am a college guidance and the president of USA International Education Consulting. I'm living in the United States for about like 19 years, and I did my master and PhD in this country in the field of education. So I'm with a group of people through USA International Education Consulting, trying to help international students who wish to continue their education in this country. There are more than 4,500 universities in this country, and 1.1 million international students continue their educations out of around 4 million international students around the world. So it's a very popular country for education, best higher education system in the world, and very good quality, So I'm going to talk about today, the application procedures specifically for the international applicants. This is kind of a motivational and technical presentation, and I hope it's going to be helpful. Normally, I will need definitely more than 30 minutes. I'll try my best, but we can go up to 1 hour. So at the end, you can ask your questions in either Turkish or English. I'll try my best to answer your questions. Let's start with the international education. I want to give you some statistics, some numbers. I already opened some windows. Let me show you the global territory of global flow of international students. This is not specifically for the United States. This is from UNESCO's website. So you can just do a simple Google search and you can do your own brainstorming. Global flow of tertiary level students, the international students. This is the interactive map actually from the UNESCO's website. So simple Google search, global flow of, you can say, international students. So this is the link, and you can just do your own search. So when you click the countries, the colors changes and there are like arrows actually, the heading different countries. So almost like all countries has different, like the colors, and you can search how many students from different countries heading to those specific countries. So I'm just going to click in the United States, but as you see, the arrows are just going out of the United States. So what I'm doing, where these students come from, I'm clicking here. So you see the arrows, just the directions changed. So let's see. The darkest ones are the countries with most international students studying in the United States. So China has like almost like 310,000 students, followed by India actually, when I move my mouse, actually the arrow. So it stays there and it says like 136 almost. The South Korea has 60,000 students, international students in the United States. Saudi Arabia, the fourth country sending international students to the United States. Let's look at Turkey, actually has around 10,000 international students. Let's look at Germany, because I know that many of you guys are joining from those two countries. Let's see, Germany, here we go. It's going to come out, 7,215 students studying something, like ESL or business psychology, any level, graduate, undergraduate level education in the United States. So you can do your own search. You can see, this is kind of motivation that will encourage students, there are like more than 1.1 million international students. And again, out of 4 million international students who are preferring different countries. So it's a very popular one. And, you have to pay a lot of money actually to the universities, because it's not cheap actually, but there are scholarship opportunities anyway. But again, even though students are paying a lot of money to the universities, they still prefer this country. Okay, so this is the one interactive map. I'm just going back to my presentation and I'm just going to continue. And here is just another number. The 4-year state universities, public universities, the number is around like 630. 4-year private institutions, 1845. I mean, what is the difference between the state and private institutions? Private institutions get the money from the tuition and the donations. The state universities get the money from the tuition and the donations plus from the government, actually. So they both charge the serious amount of money, especially for international students. So you have to pay the similar amounts actually at private or state universities. So there are like 2 years community colleges and 2-year private institutions. It's the same thing. I mean, just the community colleges, and you see the numbers here. So there are like so many options actually compared to different countries. I mean, in Turkey, there are around like 180 universities. But in here, actually, it's more than 4,000 actually. It's actually very close to 4,500. It says here 4,150. And the quality of education compared to other countries is very good. The reason is the money. Actually, they spend a lot of money for education. The university's budget is around $700 billion actually. What do those students, international students, study in this country? The 42% of those students graduate undergraduate level, study STEM fields actually: engineering, math, computer sciences, physical, life sciences, health professions, and agricultural, the majors. The business management follow the STEM, 22%, social sciences 9%, English the 5%, undeclared and other majors are 17%, fine arts, applied arts are 6%. Okay. So the higher education in the United States, let me show you another page. In here, it's a unisearch.com, and you can do your own search for the schools, how many schools, and how many states has how many schools. So let's look at like California. When you click the California, it gives you the list of the schools actually, and there are so many options actually. Those are not only the universities, but some technical schools like the School of Beauty. People just go there and just spend 1 year, and then they get their certificate to be a barber, okay, or just like hairstylist, kind of like the schools actually. Anyway, so you can do your own search to specify the schools for yourself. I'm going to narrow down my perspective, but just giving you general idea, like the overall, the quality and quantity of higher education system in the United States. So it says here, the following is the list of 1246 public and private colleges and universities in California only. But some of the colleges actually, again, are specifically designed for technical education. So some international students are not allowed to go those schools, and some of them are just put like with different colleges. That means one school but different sub-schools, so the number is a little high actually. Normally there's no 1246 colleges in California. Anyway, I don't want to confuse you. You can do your own search. Let me go back here. So you can do like, like clicking the New York actually, or just the Florida, Texas, and just you can find a list of the universities. This is one of the sources. You can find so many different sources, but when you are narrowing down your options, it would be perfect to use a tool like this. Let me see the website. I mean, just let me go down the website here, and let's look at New Jersey. Actually, when you look at the New Jersey, it says here 207 higher education institutions. New York has like 632. two. I mean, if you add those numbers, it's going to be higher than 4,000 and maybe 5,000, because again, there are like any kind of schools after high school. Actually, they listed here. Anyway, so let me go back and let's continue. So those are the top schools: Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Columbia, Stanford, University of Chicago, Duke, MIT, University of Pennsylvania, Caltech, Dartmouth, Johns Hopkins, Northwestern, Brown, Washington University, St. Louis, Cornell, Vanderbilt, Rice. So those are some top universities. I will just show you how to search, like the best schools for your educational destination. But the point is, this is very important. Don't think that like top 10, top 20, top 30 universities are the best. The rest are just the ordinary schools. No, there is a standard, okay, in this country. I can easily say that like 80% of the universities offering very good quality of education. There is a standard, and the schools are following the rules, and the quality of education is very good. Okay, especially compared to other countries. So the research, the development, the money spent for education, I mean, compared to other countries, universities are huge, actually, very good. Let me give you one example. In 2018, the September, it's like 5 months ago, MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, one of the best engineering schools, received a donation for $350 million from a single person. He was a billionaire, and he donated $350 million. And university, MIT said, we're going to invest $1 billion for a new college, artificial intelligence college. And they gave a name, the person's name to donate, the person who donated the $350 million to this college. So they get the money from the donations or just from the government, and they spend this money for education. And those schools are mostly non-profit organizations. So whatever they make, whatever they get, they spend the money for education. Anyway, so those are some list of the top schools. And we'll just focus on more, how to choose your school. I'll give you the criteria to narrow down your schools. I'm going to give you like how much it's going to cost you, how long it takes to complete the schools, kind of like explanations. Normally, I mean, we need like at least like 3 hours for such presentation, but again, I'm just trying my best. Okay. There are 22 million students continue their education, and 1 million of those students are internationals, 1.1 million. The annual budgets of universities are, around $7 billion. The Harvard University's annual budget, which is technically called endowment assets, $37 billion. Actually, Yale, I think, has like 26 billion, Stanford around like 24 billion, MIT 13 billion. I mean, they have, like the money. They get the money from the government, from the donations, from the tuitions of the students, and they spend this money for education. So that's the reason why the best the research is taking place in this country. Okay, they spend the money. The number of schools with budget of over 1 billion is around like 98. Actually, I'll show you the list quickly. The system attracts international students naturally, because there are two benefits of coming to this country for education. The first one is the income. When you get a diploma from a US-based university, and if you go back to your country or any different country, your salary will automatically increase. That's the first benefit. The second one is the prestige, the respect. The diploma itself speaks for itself. So it's going to distinguish you from the other people, because simply it means a prestige. Because again, the best education, higher education, I'm not talking about the K-12 education, higher education system in this country. And if you get your diploma from this country, it's going to bring you the respect, more respect than you expect. state and private institutions are not free, actually. Uh, State schools are just offering discounts to their citizens, the permanent residents, green card holders. But the international students usually pay more than the citizens and the permanent residents. Actually, the amount, I mean, changes for if you're a citizen. I mean, there are more options with respect to scholarships. You pay less compared to international students. But since you'll be international students in this country, don't think that schools are so expensive. There are so many scholarships available for international students. Okay, so that's the critical part. Don't be scared. Uh, Universities will give you discounts, definitely, but depends on the, the file, how strong it is, application file. Uh, you can get scholarships up to 100% actually, but you cannot get scholarship for need-based scholarships. You can get the money through merit-based. That means you are smart and you have very good test scores, good transcripts, good reference letters, good extracurricular activities, and they give you a gift. They say, okay, we just discounted the price, the tuition for 70%, maybe like 80%. So you can study in this country again up to 100 with scholarship, up to 100%. Okay, let's continue. School fees are very variable. Undergraduate and graduate education tuitions are calculated separately. So if you're coming here for undergraduate education, the amount you pay calculated in a different way. It's kind of like fixed the amount of money for undergraduate studies, but when it comes to graduate education, it's based on the credits, the classes you are taking. So it's a separate issue. How much you're going to pay, it depends on the school actually, but let's say you're coming here for a master program. There are so many different master's programs, but the average, I would say that for complete master program, let's say you got some scholarship, you'll be paying for 2 years, let's say, for whole programs. For master programs, it usually takes like 2 years, sometimes 2.5 years, between like 15,000 up to like $25,000. You can lower this amount and it can go up, but like 80% of the people pay around between $15,000 and $25,000. I mean, it's crucial. That's why I highly recommend personalized consulting. So what we do through my company, actually, we listen to the students, what they want, what kind of programs they are just interested in, their academic success, the background, and everything. So with our experience, actually, we can guess how much she's going to pay, actually, approximately, even like accepted or just rejected, what kind of letters he's going to get or she's going to get. So we can guess those things. Because many people are asking, how much I'm going to pay. The financial issues are very important. So God knows. Okay, there are schools are just saying that for a master program like $30,000. Some schools are saying like $15,000. Besides the living expenses, always remember that. So it's a little bit complicated for undergraduate education. I can say that for 1 year, it takes like 4 years. Let's say for 1 year, between 10,000 up to like $30,000. So this is the amount. You might say that, this is huge. The differences. But again, what kind of school you're applying to, what kind of majors you're applying to, how successful your background actually, and everything. It's just, there's a different algorithm each school uses, and they give you the scholarship. So that's, it's difficult to predict the amount you'll be paying actually. So this is the reason why we always emphasize the personalized consulting. Okay, we listen to your story. Then, I mean, not myself only. The all counselors, college guidance. I mean, this is what they how they work actually. The personalized consulting, the rankings and more. When you are choosing universities, let me show you how to narrow down your choices. What are the like criteria for the best schools? Which schools are the best ones? I showed you the top 20 actually, based on the U.S. News. Here is the U.S. News website. They rank the universities. There are different institutions actually ranking the universities, but this is one of the best one. Actually, the U.S. News, each year they rank the national universities or just the regional universities, best engineering schools, best psychology programs, best teaching education programs. They're very good at it. Okay, so in here, what I did, this is the U.S. News, the best colleges rankings, and I just click the national universities. That means generally, like which universities are the best ones. Okay, you'll hear the names, actually hear the same names, Princeton, Harvard, Yale kind of things. You can narrow down your choices, but it says here that the Princeton University ranked number 1 in 2019, Harvard University, and it goes like Columbia number 3 right here, and MIT number 3. They are sharing number 3 actually. University of Chicago number 3, Yale University number 3, and Stanford is number 7 actually. So Duke University number 8, and University of Pennsylvania number 8, Johns Hopkins number 10. So it goes like that. I mean, just it's loading as you see, and Northwestern. So they ranked 312 universities actually. But again, like there are more than 4,000 universities. So how do they? I mean, it's difficult to rank those schools, but these, or you can find the schools actually, and through this website, and you can narrow down your sources, the searches actually by like simple Google search, like U.S. News best business schools. So there will be a link here, and you'll see the link of the schools, like the best business schools in the United States. Okay, so the top schools are very competitive. You better know that. But this gives you an idea how to choose the school. I mean, because there are like so many options. Okay, what is the ranking? I mean, is this a good school? I mean, I don't want to say the bad schools, but there are better schools. So use this website and do a simple Google search, like best psychology programs in the United States and U.S. News, and pop. And there will be definitely a link, and it's going to show you the best psychology programs actually. So there's a detail in here. It says Harvard University, the tuition and fees is for 1 year. For undergraduate studies, $50,000 actually. Actually, this is a sticker price. That means the price on the website actually. But believe me, 95% of the students are not paying this amount. Maybe like 75% of students at Harvard University are not paying anything. They get the money from donations. They have money, and they don't need money of the students. They want the brain of those smart students, domestic or internationals. So those top schools, especially those top schools, top 20, top 25 universities, looking for the best students. And again, they get the money from different sources, and they have different policies. So when you are applying to, let's say, MIT, they will give you a very good scholarship. So most probably you won't pay anything out of this $51,000, $52,000. Okay, so do not hesitate to apply to those top colleges. I mean, if you are just thinking that you are a good student. Okay, but again, top 100, top 200, I mean, those are very good schools, actually, believe me. So there's a certain quality. Anyway, so let's go back the budgets, actually. Let me show you some numbers. This is from Wikipedia. The endowments currently greater than 1 billion. Actually, there are like 98 universities. And let me show you the numbers here. Harvard University, $38 billion actually. This is the endowment assets. That means the money that stays, and they are using the money from this the source actually, the endowment assets. So the Harvard University, let's look at Yale University, and that's the 29, almost $30 billion actually. Okay, so it's huge. So let's look at the University of Pennsylvania, the 14 billion, almost 14 billion dollars of the endowment assets. The University of Chicago, it's almost $8 billion. Okay, and University of California, $11 billion. Okay, so you can do your own search through Wikipedia, endowment assets of universities or list of colleges and universities in the United States by endowment. So you can look at the list actually. It's amazing. You might say that I want to hear some technical things. We'll talk about them, but the first thing is the motivation. You have to know the details. I mean, 1.1 million students are here. Why not? You can't make it. Okay. So let's go back and let's continue. How to choose the right school for yourself or the loved ones, actually. I mean, from my experience, actually, there are like some titles very important. And we just summarized them, and we gave like some titles, the most important criteria when you are choosing the schools, actually. The first one is the location, the rankings of the schools, the tuition, other expenses, how much you're going to pay the school, the friends or relatives that might help you, that might be living in the same city, and the program's features, what kind of program you are interested in, your future plans. I would like to start with the location. I mean, it's a huge country. You better know that. It's a huge country. It's like 13 times bigger than Turkey. It must be at least like 16, 17 times bigger than Germany. So it's a huge country. And I'll show you, let me show you the map actually. And I want to focus on this. I mean, not this side. Let's focus on this side, but let me move a couple of things here. So from New York, New Jersey, let's say from Newark Airport to Los Angeles, actually right here, the flying takes around 6 hours. Yeah, it's a huge country. So there are so many universities. When you are choosing the schools, what I would recommend, I would recommend focusing on a couple states or couple cities instead of choosing one school from New York and one school from Kentucky, one school from Phoenix, one school from Oregon, or just don't do that. You don't have to do that. So if I were you, I would focus on let's say New York, Manhattan, and New Jersey area. I mean, like, I'm just making a small circle here. Believe me, there are at least 200 universities in this area. Okay, so you don't have to go apply to different locations, but you might say that I have friends here, I have relatives there, and I am very interested in specific schools. So I'm applying to school in Virginia and I'm applying to school in Florida. So I understand that, but you can, as I showed you the website, you can just click the New York universities in New York or universities in New Jersey, and you can choose the universities from this list. Okay, this is what I highly recommend. Let me just go here. Okay, the second thing is the rankings. I showed you the rankings, the success of the school, but don't think that top out of like top 100 schools, the rest are bad schools. No, there's no such thing. Okay. Any school, I mean, I can say like 85%, 90%, let's say it this way, that's going to be better, offering very good education. Okay, but again, you can go to the website and you can search, how big is the school, and some like research the faculty, the profile, and the other types of criteria, and you can use US News's website for the rankings, and you can narrow down your choices. Again, the location and the rankings. And we continue. Oops, sorry. Here is a map, actually. The top schools, uh, in the United States. So they are everywhere. Actually, this is like top 100 universities. So they are everywhere. So you can choose one of the schools based on like the rankings. Okay, this is another criteria. Tuition and others. Okay, this is the one of the most important thing, especially for international students, because the money talks, right? I know that you want to hear more about like the tuitions and the scholarships. When you are applying the colleges, they look at the applications case by case. That means they're going to look at the file, and if you're a successful student, and if they need students, they will say that, okay, we offer you like 50% scholarship, and the amount you're paying for undergraduate education will be $12,000. Normally it's $24,000 and goes down to $12,000. So the tuition, when it comes to the tuition, they decide the scholarship, the percentage based on your academic success. Okay, merit-based scholarship, not the need-based, because you are an international student. You cannot get the money through the need-based scholarship. Domestic students or US citizens get more money than you because, they're living here, they have more rights than you. And the government or just the universities are just more friendly when it comes to the scholarship issues. But don't think that I am an international student and I don't get any scholarship. No, there is no such thing. You may get things, the money. Okay, even just 100% scholarship, maybe assistantship at the graduate level. But again, you have to have a good application file. Okay, how many universities you will apply? My personal recommendation, between like 5 and 10 universities, because you send your files to different, the same file to different 10 universities, and they send you like acceptance letters or rejection letters, and they put the amounts, how much you're going to pay in those acceptance letters. Some might say that you're going to pay $15,000 per year. Some might say like $25,000 per year. And then you can, compare the universities after receiving those acceptance letters. Okay, the tuition is, changing from school to school. Okay, the other expenses, the rent, insurance, food, etc. You have to buy a car if you are not living in a big city like New York City. But the cars are very cheap, actually, and the gas prices are very low. It's not a big deal. Buying a car is not a big deal. Getting a driver license is not a big deal in this country. But the rent, if you are living in a big city like New York, Philadelphia, depends on where you're staying, but it can change from like $500 up to like $3,000. Okay, if you want to live in Manhattan, it's going to be very expensive. You can share the room with somebody else. You can stay in dormitory. So it depends. This is another criteria. Okay, the insurance. You might say, what is the insurance? Not the health insurance, actually. You have a car, and you have to have an insurance for your car. So in big cities, this number can go up to like $200 monthly, but in other city, it can go down to like $40. Okay, that's the insurance. The food is very similar in every state. Actually, not so expensive. Like in every state, it's almost the same thing. And some other the expenses, actually, but not so crucial. But the rent is one of the most important thing. Okay, you better know that. And of course, the tuition, the money issue, tuition, and I can say the rent. Okay, let me just go here. The friends. You might say that that's, I think, the fourth criteria. You have friends in specific city, or just relatives, and they may help you. I mean, it's very helpful to have somebody from Turkey or Germany. I don't know your background, but it would be very helpful because you'll face the cultural shock. You'll miss the loved ones from Turkey or just Germany. I mean, it's inevitable, the cultural shock. So they can provide you shelter, like less money to spend, like maybe you pay for rent less than the other people, just or the friends, I mean social support, and they know the internal culture of the universities. Okay, they might help you. So this is another criteria. They may say that, okay, come here and you can stay with us, and we'll take care of you, the application procedures and everything. And this is a good school, so you get the information from the first person who are your friends or relatives. Okay, that's another criteria. The program features. Okay, you would like to apply, let's say, the psychology program, graduate level psychology, which will be difficult, challenging actually, to get a scholarship or just acceptance letters. But let's say you applied, but what kind of concentration areas actually they have? Okay, how big is the program itself? How about like time frame? That means how long it's going to take to complete the program for master. Some master programs you can complete in 2 years. The same program, the psychology, let's say clinical psychology, but there are schools saying that you have to complete this amount of credits and it's going to take 3 years. Okay, one is saying 2 years, one is saying 3 years. It's the same thing for the MBA, Master of Business Administration. Let's talk about it. Some programs, MBA programs, let's say MBA in finance, takes like 2 years. But some schools are saying that no, it's going to take 3 years. You'll have to take more credits. But it's the same thing. Okay. And let's say the same level of the rankings. So why would I choose like 3 years education? Because I would pay more. So I would prefer the university offering the same degree in 2 years. Okay. But again, sometimes you need help actually for a brainstorming. Okay, I know that you guys have questions, but like personalized consulting. Okay, very specific question. I may even not answer some of the questions you have right now, but I'll try my best at the end. And in theory and practice. In some schools, I mean, let's say again, like business, one of the most preferred programs actually in the United States, the business. Some schools are located in like big cities where the real business goes on. Uh, so you have chance to do your internship or just working in a company after finishing the school. Actually, you'll get the work permit actually for 1 year, like up to 27 months. So you also have to look at those details. Is it only about theory, just like the classes, or just offering like internship, uh, like some agreements with the companies and they take you there for internship and you'll see like the real work environments. Okay, the community, again, you study let's say engineering, okay, or architecture in a small city with like 30,000 population and one university, or you are studying engineering in, let's say, Los Angeles or Chicago actually, or like Philadelphia. So I mean, imagine the community and the access you'll have. Okay, so I mean, it's architecture. Okay, you have to see things actually. Okay, you might have like you might like walk into some companies. You can have like direct contact them easily instead of like flying from like in the middle of nowhere in Wyoming or somewhere like South Dakota. Like there are like some advantages. Always consider like being close to big cities or just have some advantages. Okay, the access, the alumni. I mean, alumni means the people who graduated from the same university, a group of people, and this is called the alumni. Let's say Bill Gates didn't graduate from Harvard. Mark Zuckerberg graduated from Harvard University. Jeff Bezos graduated from Princeton University. So imagine you will be a part of an elite group of those alumni. You know what I mean? So that's also very important. Or like New York University, you can do your own search, like alumni of New York University, alumni of Duke University, alumni of Cornell University. Okay, so you can do your own search. So just before the documentation, let me go back quickly and just look at the how would you choose the schools, the location, the first thing, the cities, the East Coast, West Coast, or just South, Florida, just Texas or Chicago area. That's the first thing. The rankings I showed you, like, how good is the school? Okay. The tuition and other expenses, depends on the scholarship, which is the sticker price, the friends or relatives, the program features, and your future plans. Actually, we just skipped this one. It depends on your future plans. I mean, some schools are just, preparing like the university professors. You want to be a university professor and just, you want to just focus on the theory part of the education. So you focus on it. So it's not a big thing. Anyways, those are the criteria. Let's go down the documentation. What kind of documents they will just ask you to complete? Oops, I have to just a little bit move this down here. Okay, I hope everybody sees what we have. So in general, this is what they require. Not everything in this list required, but you will be asked to complete a most probably online application, actually. Okay, the student essay, the undergraduate or graduate level, master or PhD, they will ask you to complete a personal essay, which is approximately like 1,000 words. For undergraduate, it's going to be 650 words, but believe me, it's not easy to write those personal statements. We specifically offer students to complete the personal statements. We help them, actually. It's only 1 or 2 pages, but believe me, students ruin those personal statements. And it's very common. So we have, very college guidances offering the personal essay that help actually for the students. Reference letters depends on what kind of programs you're applying. 1, 2, 3, actually in general, like 2 or 3 reference letters. GRE, GMAT, SAT, ACT. For undergraduate programs, ACT or SAT, many of them are requiring, some even not requiring. For some graduate level, master or PhD level programs, they require like GRE or GMAT, actually. You have to look at what kind of the test they are requiring, actually. So you have to go into the website and the program's website, and you have to look the test requirements and even what kind of scores they are requiring. From like the TOEFL at the bottom, actually it's here, what kind of scores they are requiring, the minimum score from IELTS or GRE, if they are requiring. Sometimes they don't say that, specific scores we want. They say GRE is required and that's it, okay? Or like SAT is required, okay? The full transcripts of all your relevant academic qualifications. That means, let's say you're coming for a master program or just undergraduate, you have to get your transcripts from high school or from the university. But you cannot send them directly to the universities. There is a process. You have to send those letters in sealed envelope to specific institutions out of the university, and they evaluate your transcripts and they send those transcripts to the schools. So it's kind of complicated procedure, actually. So you don't directly send your transcripts to the schools. You send them to specific institutions. I'm going to talk about them. And they evaluate, they change the numbers, they convert the numbers to the United States higher education system. Because there are like different countries using different, the grading scales, models. Okay, in China, there is something different. In India, so many things are different, actually. In Germany, actually, it must be very different. In Turkey, like 4.0 scale, so it's very similar. Anyway, some schools may require you to submit the resume, and there will be a fee, the proof of English language proficiency, if the first language, the country, the language is not English. Like in Germany, they will require you to submit if you're a German citizen. In Turkey, they will definitely ask you to submit your TOEFL or IELTS score. What kind of scores they will ask? I mean, in general, for undergraduate, 5.5 from IELTS, 72 from TOEFL in general. For graduate studies, master or PhD, like 6.0, 6.5 from IELTS. For TOEFL, like 78, 76 are the minimum scores. Okay, so there's changes. I'm just skipping those parts actually. So I don't want to just go into the details a lot. Okay, let's go. Anything else that will support your applications, like the clubs, hobbies? I mean, you have a work experience. You don't have to be like 22, 25. I mean, you can come to this country like when you are 40, okay, for a master or just PhD. You know what I mean? So anything that will support your application, okay? Certificates that you got, you put those certificates into your file to make your file stronger, okay? Financial support documents, which is not a big deal actually. You have to show a bank statement that will show that it covers all tuitions. And you might say that, you know, like I have to show like $50,000 for the whole expenses for 1 year, as you see here. The total expense for this university, I don't know which university I've taken this, will be $28,000. This is approximately how much you're going to spend actually in this country. You don't have to just spend like $28,000, but this is approximately. So you have to show a bank statement over $28,600. Okay, but don't think that I have a bank account like $50,000 and university will see that and they won't give me scholarship. No, it's not working that way. What happens? They are going to give you scholarship if they will give you based on merit-based scholarship. Okay, they don't care about this bank statement. They have a policy, and if you have a specific GPA from your university transcripts from high school, they will say 50%, 30%, but we don't know. It changes from university to university. Okay, application fee like 60, between like 60 and 100. Again, I recommend for students applying to at least like 5 up to like 10. Might change, but you can apply up to like 12 or like 13 universities, but above this number, it's not reasonable. Less than 5 university, you'll take a risk. So that's the reason, at least like 5 or 6 universities, okay? So it's gonna cost you around like 300, maybe like $500 for the application fees. So this is National Association of Credential Evaluation Services. You can just search online. This is for the transcript evaluation, which is very important. Remember, you cannot send directly your transcripts to those institutions. You send them, one of the institutions, member of this organization, WES or EC are the most popular ones. You can click you can search online. You can go to websites. It's very helpful actually, just very easy to use. And you can direct your transcripts to those institutions and you pay for them around like $200, $300. They evaluate and you choose the university, they send directly to the universities, and universities add those transcript evaluations to your files, okay? Scholarships, again, there are 2 types of scholarships, the merit-based, your academic success, and the need-based. You cannot get scholarship through need-based, and you can get the scholarship from the merit-based academic success. They give you award because you are good, you are successful, and they will give you a discount. It can be 100%. You might say that how am I going to apply to scholarships? You don't have to do anything. There will be a small box and they will ask, you submit all documents and they will ask you, would you like to apply scholarship? And you will say yes, and that's it. There is no separate application. There is no separate package. So your package, the application package, the transcripts, the resume, the personal statement, the TOEFL scores, GRE, GMAT, whatever is required, is your scholarship application. Okay, you don't have to do anything else. What kind of, I mean, how do they just evaluate the scholarships? I mean, there are like different criteria, you know, educational achievement, the quality of interview, if they do, competitiveness, okay, life experience, professional goals that you will indicate in your personal statement. So that's going to be, these are the things, the titles for the scholarship evaluations, okay? Believe me, you'll get some scholarship. You know, if you're not so bad, you'll get, if they accept you, you'll get some scholarship. The time management is also very important when you are applying to colleges. I mean, you have to apply as early as possible, okay? There are different types of admissions. The deadlines, the November 1st is very important. The early action and early decision, you have to prepare all documents. Around like 45–50% of applicants to those schools get their acceptances at the time of November 1st. So, I mean, it's a deadline. So you submit all documents before November 1st and you get the acceptance letter by December 15, December 20. So it's a very early thing, early action and early decision. There are like differences actually, those terms. The early action is non-binding, early decision is binding, but I don't want to go into that. The overall philosophy, do not be late. They won't accept your applications. Don't be late. People are, I mean, universities are very strict. The regular admissions like November, January, undergraduate, graduate, doesn't matter. Sometimes it's like February 1st, February 15th. But again, try to apply as early as possible. It's kind of like first comes, first evaluated, okay? And the rolling admission, that's big schools actually. So they accept, you know, like until the program is, you know, like the full. This is how things work. But it's I mean, if a school is offering like rolling admission, its rankings are a little low. Anyway, so the appointments and emails, the visits, I highly recommend those things. The email writing is very important, like reaching the right person. But those are so many, I mean, details. Again, we need like at least like 2 hours, 2 hours, 30 minutes, or like 3 hours to explain all the details. The appointments, you'll do some appointments. They may require you to complete like online appointments. They would like to see you, how friendly you are. They're not going to question your academic success because they have all files. But, you know, let's say they're going to offer you assistantship actually, and they would like to see how your personality. You know what I mean? So they would like to see how your just personality reflects on your face. You know what I mean? How friendly you are. Okay. So those are the important things, and you have to be very careful when you are making appointments online. You have to be on time. The emails, like, you know, on the same day or the next day, you have to respond to show that you are a responsible person. So I think that's it for now. I have so many stories actually I can tell, but I think we have like, time is it? It's almost like 1 hour actually. So I think we have some questions, 3 questions in English and 2 questions in Turkish. So let's start with the 3 questions in English. Let's go up. Which location is US is best for computer sciences? Any idea? Good question. Okay, let me just open the Google Chrome. Yeah, I'll take this here, the right side. I don't want to see myself here. So this is the Google Chrome. Okay, what I'm doing. Let me show you how to do. I mean, it's not so complicated. Okay, I know the answer actually. It must be the Carnegie Mellon University. Most probably you heard the name first time. Best computer science programs in the United States and US News. This is my Google search. Here we go. Best computer science program in the United States. US News, Carnegie Mellon University. It's in Pennsylvania. Let me click this. Here we go. They ranked best computer science schools, 188 of them. Okay. Carnegie Mellon, MIT, they're sharing the number one, Stanford, UC California, Berkeley, and those top schools are just the best ones actually. But you know, like this is the country leading technology, the computer sciences. So I mean, any school in this list, 188, they must be very good. So you can do your own ranking search, as I did. The writing best computer science schools, US News, and you can find the same webpage. Okay, let's go to the second question. Let me find it. Where was it? College and university. What is the difference? Is it the same? Yes, that's a very confusing thing, but actually, there's no difference. Actually, honestly, colleges in general are not offering, institutions that are not offering like master or PhD level education, but this changed actually in the last decades. So it's not a big deal actually. I'll give you one example. Many schools are using the university instead of college, but for instance, like Boston College and Boston University, there are two schools, Boston University and Boston College. People have a bias against the college, the term college, because in Turkey it means like high school, it's a private high school, but there's no such thing actually. Boston College is ranked better than Boston University actually. So most of the schools are just using the college. Some schools are even like using the institute, like NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, or MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So it's not a big deal. But in previous years, in theory, the colleges are not offering, like the schools, not offering so many options at the graduate level, master or PhD. But it changed actually last decade. So it's obviously not a big difference, and there's no big difference. How to apply for scholarship? Do I need to apply contacting the international office? They will help you, but again, most probably they will say that you are an international student, you cannot get scholarships from the government. It's going to be limited, but when you are applying to the program, you are already applying to scholarships. Okay, there won't be a separate application procedures. They are not going to do an interview or something like that. They will not ask you to submit, let's say, your father's bank statements, okay, or just a letter from your government that this student is poor. You know what I mean? There's no such thing. But for merit-based, the academic, you are already submitting your transcripts. You know what I mean? So you show that you are a good student. You have a 4.0 GPA, let's say from SAT undergraduate level, 1500 SAT, believe me, you'll get a good scholarship. If you're a good student, they will give you the award. This is the overall philosophy of the United States, okay? I mean, this is not our topic right now, but I mean, imagine if you are an academics, if you're a professor in a different country, and if you have like publications, if you have like patents, if some innovations, you can get your green card very easily. You know what I mean? This country wants the best students. It's the same philosophy. Okay. Sigorta işlemleri nasıl oluyor? Üniversiteler genelde karşılıyorlar mı? Sigorta işlemlerinden neyi kastettiğinizi anlayamadım. Yani sağlık sigortası ise sizden isteyecekler. Bunun rakamı ne oluyor? İşte 1500 dolarla işte 3000 dolar arası olabilir. Onu ödemek zorundasınız. Bazı okullar bizden yaptırmak zorundasınız diyor. Sağlık sigortasından bahsediyorum. Bazı okullara dışarıdan da yaptırtabiliyorsunuz. Ben şirket olarak böyle bir şeyim var. Mesela benim kendi anlaşmalı bir şeyim var. Daha ucuza yaptırabiliyoruz. Mesela 2500 dolar diyor. Ben 1000 dolara aynı şeyi yaptırtabiliyorum. Özel bir anlaşmamız var. Böyle bir şey. Bu sağlık sigortası. Araba sigortası diyorsanız yani onu zaten yaptırmak zorundasınız. 2 tip sigorta var. liability, yani düşük, bizim Türk trafik sigortası dediğimiz, bir de kasko var. 2 tip sigorta var. O da değişiyor şehirden şehire, değişiyor. Kaza oranlarının fazla oluyor. Yani New York'ta mesela bu rakam çok yüksek oluyor ama biraz daha açıklarda 1-2 saat mesafedeki yerlerde bu rakam yarı yarıya kadar düşebiliyor. Sigorta işleminden kastınız bu ise. Online eğitim nasıl oluyor? Dışarıdan okuma imkanı nasıl? Bu ülkeye geldikten sonra %100 online bir okula giremezsiniz. Eğer vatandaşlığınız veya green kartınız yoksa. Yurt dışından katılma yani imkanı, ben okumak istiyorum, o şekilde çok duymadım açık söyleyeyim. Okullar online eğitim veriyorlar. Ee, Kesin vardır bir şeyler ama yani o işin kalitesi, yani şimdi siz bir eğitim alacaksınız. Bu ülkede yaşayacaksınız. Yani İngilizceniz ona göre gelişecek. Bu ülkede yaşayacaksınız. Yani sadece okul meselesi değil. Bir, İngilizce benefit olacak sizin için. İkincisi, bu ülkede belli bir vakit geçireceksiniz. Belki bir 2 yıl, belki bir 3 yıl. E, Bu size çok şey katacaktır. Yani bir hayat tecrübesi kazanacaksınız. Yani eğitim dediğiniz şey sadece kitapları alıp okumak vesaire değildir. Yani online, evet, burada %100 online okullar var. E, Ama yani bu işi Türkiye'den yapalım veya buraya gelip %100 online, zaten onu yapamazsınız. Ona izin vermiyorlar. Bazı bölümler, okullar mesela 3-4 dersi online almanızı isteyebilirler. Onda sıkıntı yok. Ama Türkiye'de oturup da yani ben işte şu okulun, üniversitenin şeyine kabul aldım, o ile ilgili çok bir şey duymadım ama yani siz Türkiye'de oturup buradan atıyorum bir üniversitenin sitesine bağlanıp e, ders alıp onlar da size bir diploma verecekler falan. Yani çok bana şey gelmiyor, convincing, ikna edici gelmiyor. Onu da söyleyeyim. Evet, başka soru yok. Ben kanalı tekrar değiştireyim. So I have my email address. I mean, you can reach me. My web page. I mean, I have 2 web pages under construction right now. The one of them is not under construction. But you can reach me and we can talk more for just your future plans. And thanks for your just attendance. I hope you liked it, and I hope it was helpful. Thank you very much.